top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, today's podcast episode is entitled, If You Know It, Show It. Now, I remember listening to the late, great Bob Proctor talk about one time when someone walked up to him and asked him to explain the topic of cybernetics. Now, Bob, in his own head, knew exactly what cybernetics meant, but to explain it to someone else, he found he just couldn't explain it properly. You know, he was mumbling, he was trying to find the right ways of explaining it, and as he was going through this process, a thought came to his head of a quote he had heard from someone before, and this quote was, if you can't explain something to someone in plain English that they can understand it, well then you don't understand it. And the more Bob thought about that quote, you know, the trouble he was having explaining cybernetics to this person, if he couldn't explain it to someone else, well then that probably means that he doesn't know it to enough of a level. So, sure enough, Bob went off to find out more about cybernetics, read a couple of books on it, and came back with a very, very simple explanation. Now, if you don't know what cybernetics is, it is simply a way of how things kind of self-regulate themselves. Now, the way Bob explained it, which is a really, really simple way to understand it, is cybernetics is something that could be in a system like a thermostat. Now, what you will find with a thermostat is if you set it to a certain temperature, the thermostat will do its very, very best to keep that temperature in the room at that level. Now, if the temperature gets too low, it'll probably turn on the heating or the furnace or whatever, and it'll bring the temperature back up again. Now, if the room gets too hot, it'll turn the heating, it'll turn the furnace off, and then slowly over time, the temperature will probably lower and drop back down to that level that the thermostat is set to. So basically that is what a cybernetic process is. Now again, like, you know, thermostats, you know, rockets that are on the way to the moon, or, you know, planes that are set up with autopilot, we ourselves have a cybernetic kind of mechanism in our head. Now our cybernetic mechanism is again like that thermostat, but the way it's set up for us, it's set up that we sometimes financially we are at a set kind of reading or set level, and sometimes when we, you know, are making more money, sometimes even making less money, we will probably end the year at around the same level of what the cybernetic system is set up. For example, maybe if your cybernetic system is set up where you'll only earn maybe $10,000 in a year or $20,000 in the year, you will find that chances are good every single year you will end the year at $20,000. Now, some years you might be up maybe in the first 2 or 3 months, your business might be doing well, you might have a lot of money coming in, but you will find that as the year progresses, it'll slowly taper down again. You'll probably start taking less action, you'll probably maybe not promote your business as much, or whatever you're doing, and you will find that your money will just land at 20,000 at the end of the year. So one of the things Bob talks about in his courses and all his seminars is getting yourself to readjust that cybernetic mechanism in your head, that you will allow more money to come into your life, or you'll be able to overcome any programming you have so that you can, you know, get past, that you can turn up the thermostat in your head so that you start bringing in better results, more cash, and, you know, your life improves because of it. But going back to this thing that Bob had said, you know, if you don't know something, well then, if you can't explain it to someone else, well then you don't really know it. Now, a lot of us are like that. A lot of us say, well, I know that thing. You know, for example, if I said to you, you know, what are 2 ways you could lose weight? Now, you would probably say to me, well, the most obvious is probably just to stop eating as much, maybe cut down on my calories, and then probably get on the exercise bike or get on the treadmill or just go for a walk, you know, burn up some calories. So reduce the stuff that's going in my mouth and try and burn out the calories that are already in my body. You know that. But again, you're probably having difficulty sometimes maybe pulling up your zip because you're a little bit overweight. Again, you probably know things like if somebody asks you about the best way to blog, you could probably give them a checklist. You could give them the top 10 things that someone should do if they blog. But you'll find even though you know that, you're probably not taking that advice. You're not taking those actions. I find a lot of people who are online and have online businesses know a lot about email. They know how powerful email is. They know that, that having an email list and having some email subscribers you can contact regularly is one of the best ways to make money on the internet. I could probably ask anyone, how do you build an email list? I'll have people tell me, well, you build an opt-in list, you give a free report away, or you give away some free video, or, some PDF document or whatever. They know all that, but yet they aren't doing it. They're not collecting those email addresses. And if they are collecting those email addresses, you can probably be guaranteed they're hardly ever sending emails to those email subscribers. So they know all those steps, and yet they're not taking it. And the same is probably the same for you right now. If I asked you, to explain something in your business or something that you're doing right now, you could give me all the steps. You could tell me, well, this is what a beginner needs to do, or this is what an advanced person needs to do. You know all the steps. But I can be almost probably guaranteed sure that you're not taking all those steps. You know the stuff, but you're not doing it. So that's why I kind of titled this podcast episode, if you know it, show it. Now, probably a quote that's probably is well used by this stage from the Bible is, by their fruits, you'll know them. So if we can't see the fruits from you, well then chances are good, even though you tell us you know that thing, you don't really know it because we can't see the fruits. In fact, because you haven't got the fruits, having this knowledge that you say you have, you are no more valuable than a person who doesn't have this knowledge. Because a person right now who doesn't have the knowledge you have would get the exact same result as you're getting. So give that some thought today. If you know it, if you really, really, really know it, are you showing it? Can we see the results? Can we see your money going up? Can you see you being more productive? Can we see more people reading your blog? Can we see more people on your YouTube channel? Can we see more people following your TikTok? Can we see the fruits of your knowledge? And if we can't see it, well, then you don't really need it. You don't really know it. You need to do your homework. You need to go back to the basics. You need to go back and actually work on the stuff that you say you know. Because if you know it, you'll be able to show it. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Before you go, Barry would like to give you a free copy of Words to Wealth. In it, he's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. Head on over to writecome.com now for your copy. Have a great day and come back soon.